Let me talk my shit, man. Like, listen, we're back at it again today. Today, I was thinking, what am I gonna do after I jump off? I jump off keto. What am I gonna do? Because the the irony of this situation is that keto adaptation, that you fully adapt, you become fully fat adapted after 4 to 6 weeks. And I was only planning on going on keto for 4 to 6 weeks. Like, to be exact, I was only planning on going on it for 6 weeks. And this is just for that initial week before Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, and then a week after. And I was just gonna close it off like that, a solid 6 weeks. But to become fully fat adapted means that I reap the full benefits of being in ketosis finally. But then as soon as that happens, I'm gonna come off it. It doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? So I was speaking with Gemini for about an hour today, 2 hours today, about just about certain things. And then we happened to come across the topic of what would be the best way to retain the benefits of ketosis, of being in deep ketosis and building all of this cellular machinery to efficiently metabolize fats, right? To efficiently metabolize fatty acids efficiently. Did I just say efficiently twice? I'm tweaking. Um, but yeah, what would be the best way to retain all these benefits when switching back to a carb diet? And I came across this idea of being metabolically flexible. And this is the idea of maintaining the cellular machinery while also being on a carb diet, but not strictly carbs. It goes like this. It's you kind of switch between fuel sources, right? So you lower the amount of carbs. So let's say I'm eating like 300 or 250 to 300 grams of carbs. On this new restricted carb diet, I would be eating around 150. And this would be in a time restricted window. So first of all, I would have to intermittent fast, right? So in this 8 hour window, I would have, depending if I go gym, let's say on gym days, right? Let's break this down like this. You go gym on some days and you rest the other days. I mean, you can actively recover, whichever you fancy, right? On gym days, you would eat, let's say, 150 grams of carbs. You would fast for 12 hours. So this is a 12 to 8 hour intermittent fasting sort of protocol. So after you go to the gym, let's say I'm going to use me as an example. I go to the gym at 7 a.m., right? I wake up at 6, go to the gym at 7. I get back and I eat at 11. And this meal is going to be a high protein, high carb meal to replenish and give myself the energy to build the muscle, right? My second meal during the day is going to be a high fat, high protein meal, minimal carbs. And then my final meal is going to be moderate carbs and moderate protein and fat, right? And so this sort of leveling out of carbs across the day. The first carbs is for the muscle growth and so on, and then the last bit of carbs is for so that my blood glucose maintains steady while I'm sleeping, right? I don't want it to crash and then this, that, and I have to wake up and it dumps cortisol and adrenaline when your liver glycogen depletes and stuff like that. But hold on, wait, I think I made a mistake there. I don't think that's really the case. Why you should have carbs before you sleep. I'm trying to remember. Give me 1 second. I'll come back to that point. I'll come back to that point. But essentially, by the time I wake up and I've been fasted for 16 hours, my body will have transitioned to, it wouldn't have transitioned, it would just have started producing ketones at the same time because my liver is still in that mode where it can produce ketones and my body is in a state where I can accept it. And so when I wake up in that sort of semi-fasted state, then my my liver's producing a small amount of ketones and my blood glucose is low, right? And this is why we have the carbs before bed, so we can maintain that blood glucose over the sleep, but the blood glucose is getting lower and lower, and the ketone level is getting higher. And so that dual fuel source is now also is now main sustaining the brain. Whereas if, let's say I go on a straight carb diet, right? I go on a straight carb diet. After a week or however long, all of that cellular machinery is going to be gone. The liver's capability is going to be gone. My brain's capability to metabolize ketones is going to be gone. And in those semi-fasted states, I don't get any benefits. And I feel brain fog, I feel foggy, I feel this and that, right? And being on a straight carb diet makes you privy to the ups and downs of the glucose and this and that, right? You're subject to these insulin spikes and this and that, right? Whereas when you maintain everything that was built during the time that you was in ketosis, you can drift in and out. You can drift between using glucose and ketones. And this is the most advantageous metabolic position. Is that is that a way you can say it? A metabolic position. This is the metabolically optimal state for your body. Because imagine, let's think back into the wild. We would be hunting for food. We'd be hunting for food, and sometimes we wouldn't get it. So we would be in a semi-fasted state. And then we would get our food, and then we would be able to get a little bit of carbs there. And then we would drift in and out of this ketosis state because our food was never guaranteed. And so we needed to be metabolically flexible to to be to maximize our chances of survival, right? And in this day and age, the fact that I would be able to drift in and out of these carb sources, let's say if I start now at 20 years old and I start this journey, then by the time when I'm 25 and my insulin response is not as sensitive, where people start getting dad bods and be putting on belly fat, me, that wouldn't happen. Well, that's not the main reason, but that's just like an idea of why it would be a good idea to start from early, because there wouldn't be that sort of phase because my body's used to burning fat. So when insulin response when my insulin sensitivity drops and I start storing the excess glucose, there is no excess glucose to store, number one. And when there is, I'm always drifting in and out glucose and fat burning. So I'm always I'm putting on muscle and I'm also staying shredded at the same time, right? And it just really makes a whole lot of sense, because on the days where I don't go gym, then I essentially eat like I'm on keto, right? I essentially eat like I'm on keto, and because of the fact that everything is still working as it's meant to be in terms of being able to metabolize ketones as efficiently as possible, those days that I'm not at the gym, where I'm not eating any carbs, well, I'll eat a small bit of carbs, but I don't have to eat carbs, and I'll be able to sustain off ketones and just be in a fat burning phase that whole time and maintain a level of fitness, a level of health. And in that, in that case, that's not a word, in that position, I could then do ketosis. I can go into deep ketosis on a monthly basis, quickly transition, quickly like that, be in deep ketosis, reap the benefits of the ketones in the brain and the clearing of the waste and all of that good stuff that I talked about in previous episodes, right? So it just makes a lot of sense. It just makes a lot of sense. It keeps, in essence, it keeps your blood the energy that your brain gets stable and clean, right? It's the best of both worlds. You can build muscle and you can burn fat. And that's what everybody wants to do at the end of the day. That is the balance that everyone strives for. And they struggle. They go through cutting and shredding phases. But if you maintain this sort of diet continually over time, you don't have to go through phases. You don't have to go through ups and downs. You're stable, you're solid, and you're just, you know? I really was thinking about this today, and I might have to try it out because it sounds like it sounds like a dream come true. No, I'm playing. Yeah, that's just I just wanted to kind of relay. I kind of relayed it in a disjointed manner, but what I was working through today, I wanted to recapitulate to you guys because it's a powerful thing, and it's not for me to completely explain the concept because I'm only just working through it and finding out things about it. It's for me to give to you as an idea to go look into and look further into if you're interested in about optimizing your health and not feeling brain fog and going through these ups and downs and these crashes, and you want to maintain a steady, solid sort of, you want to maintain a strong foundation from which you can build off and you can make certain decisions off. Okay, I'm taking it too far. Like, I'm saying build a foundation. It's not about that. It's just about stability at the end of the day, and it's about health. It's about being optimally healthy and maintaining a great balance, which is what your body thrives for. Your body wants consistency. It thrives for it. It's saying, please stick to a schedule. Please give me a rhythm. Your body thrives on rhythms. Your body thrives on schedules. And that's just how the body is. And so if you can give it that consistent energy supply, that consistent schedule, and not take it through all the ups and downs that causes the damage and maintain it, that causes the chronic inflammation and things of that nature, and all these acute stresses, which I'm currently undergoing as I'm still in adaptation phase, and my body needs to enhance levels of cortisol and adrenaline to mobilize the fat, my body fat, so that it can be burned as energy, right? These chemicals are high because of the fact I'm still in the adaptation phase. And I didn't know this. I thought automatically I would be leaning towards the parasympathetic side. I would be relaxed but it's that's not how it works. Of course, it's not how it works. My body's in serious construction mode right now and is suffering in a 500 calorie deficit. The nervous system is detecting this and and stimulating in me a feeling of lethargy. Every single day I'm feeling, it's another day, I gotta get through it. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing ketosis wrong. But again, my body's just adapting. And it would be wrong to let these adaptations go to waste and to go back to how I was living beforehand. And this could really be a turning point in my life. And I wanted to just tell you guys how revolutionary this could be for you as well. If you needed some inspiration to switch up your diet, to try something new, to do what you know is best for your health, for your kids, for your future, then I hope you got something from this. But listen, back to my story, right? Back to my story. Today, today I went for a jog after I ate breakfast, and I said that was a terrible idea. That was a terrible idea. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea, but I did. I didn't think it would be a good idea. I just thought I normally do a jog in the morning, and I've woken up this early, and I already started my day, so I may as well just go for a jog straight after. Normally, like the past week, I ate my meal and I go to bed, which is not that much better, considering what happens after you eat a high fat, high protein. I mean, high fat mainly. That's the main thing because fat is takes the longest to digest. apparently like 5 to 6 hours, something like that. And so when you sleep straight after, you put your digestion into, you don't put it on pause, but you put it into into lower drive. And so it will take longer. And the longer it takes to digest something, the more problems it can potentially cause. But a big problem that is caused is when you divert blood away from the gut, so it actually pauses digestion for a period of time, or slows it down so much that it may as well be paused. And that's what happened when I went for a run, and that led to me feeling uncomfortable. I felt a bit bloated, you know what I'm saying? And then even when I ate dinner earlier, my stomach was feeling tight. I was feeling and my head was feeling a bit pressurized. And I mean, nausea can manifest in that way as well. It can manifest via the vagal nerve. The gut is communicating to the brain that, listen, something's going wrong down here, and it can manifest as some squeezing of the head and pressure and headaches and stuff like that. And so I was just not feeling great. I was not feeling great in this morning and this evening. So sorry for the lack of energy. I really tried my best to really piece together the sorts of things that I was thinking about today. And there was a lot more things that I was thinking about, but that's unrelated, and I'll save that for another video. But listen, from me to you, your health is the most important thing. So prioritize it.